Welcome to Gun News Review. YouTube has taken it upon itself to censor defense-distributed owner Cody Wilson, who has battled the government and media over distribution of his so-called gun blueprints. Wilson says YouTube removed video of his recent press conference announcing the sale of the gun blueprints and a fundraiser for his ongoing legal fight for their publication. Wilson told the Washington Free Beacon that YouTube claims it's promoting of the sale of firearms, and he says they removed every video he's ever made on Ghost Gunner and DefCad. When asked by the Free Beacon why YouTube considered the press conference video to be a violation of their guidelines, a spokesperson said the video included a link to defcad.com, where Wilson currently sells the blueprints. The company said it does not allow content that facilitates either the sale of firearms or their manufacture or links to sites selling firearms. Some state lawmakers are saying more must be done to protect students from anti-gun bullies working in public schools and universities. The NRA's Institute for Legal Action Initiative reports several recent incidents where teachers tried to intimidate students who have pro-Second Amendment views. One involved New Mexico's Carlsbad High School student Will Riley, who says the school principal tried to intimidate him into canceling his nationwide walkout in support of the Second Amendment. New Mexico State Representative Catherine Brown told the NRA it's an attempt to suppress free speech, saying some schools and students lack a basic understanding of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. There was also a similar case recently in Utah, and a professor at the University of Kansas was recently forced by the school to redact portions of his anti-gun class syllabus after students called him out on it. Hundreds of gun rights supporters turned out at the Idaho Capitol Saturday in Boise to rally for Second Amendment rights. Participants met at a park and marched to the State House for a rally where a number of speakers took a stand on the rights of gun owners. They also denounced red flag laws, which allow police to confiscate firearms from gun owners who are deemed by a court to be at risk of danger to themselves or others. The marchers said increased gun regulation won't prevent mass shootings from happening. The rally's taken place annually since 2012. Vermont is the latest state to have a red flag law, which went into effect at the beginning of the month. The legislation passed the legislature last session and was signed by Governor Phil Scott in April as part of a series of historic reforms to the state's gun laws. The Vermont Network Against Domestic and Sexual Violence calls the new law another tool in the toolbox for police to protect victims in domestic violence situations. You're listening to Gun News Review. A new report by the National Shooting Sports Foundation says more people participate in target shooting than play tennis, soccer, or baseball. It says that in 2016, more than 20 million Americans spent money to participate in target shooting in this country, with an estimated $16.9 billion spent on equipment and travel related to the sport. Nearly $5 billion was on shooting-related trips. The remaining was spent on equipment, fees, and instruction. The report says that spending on shooting sports supports more than 329,000 jobs and accounts for over $12 billion in salaries and wages. It also contributes more than $5 billion in local, state, and federal tax revenues. In recognition of National Suicide Prevention Month, the National Shooting Sports Foundation is reminding gun owners that securely storing firearms could help save the life of someone going through a difficult time. It also notes that reaching out to a person you're concerned about can be extremely important. Research shows that asking someone if they're having suicidal thoughts will not put the person at greater risk. The NSSF offers resources online to help identify warning signs and risk factors, how to locate assistance, and tips on how to keep firearms safely secured. Foundation President Steve Sinetti says that given that two-thirds of firearms-related fatalities are suicides, firearms owners can play a role in helping to prevent the tragedies. And the National Rifle Association says it has awarded over $600,000 in grants to support school security projects in 23 states under its School Shield program. The 54 grants go to both public and private schools that include funds for infrastructure enhancements and renovation, access control, and visitor management systems. In addition, the money helps pay for security cameras, security tents for windows, improved communication systems, emergency medical kits, perimeter fencing, and life-saving training. The NRA School Shield program was launched in the wake of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. You've been listening to Gun News Review. Comprehensive and concise.